Hello everybody, and welcome back once again to Super Metroid Escape 2. And in this we are getting to the interesting part. The hex sort of bogs down on the back end a little bit. You kind of expect this to go to the statues, but it doesn't. So that was not task, by the way, that was just pro skills. Yeah, so here on out, it's looking for the statue room if you haven't found it. And I was not very happy it was not any of those doors up there. So, cutting out a bunch of needless searching, there are this non-hint thing, which I think I sort of pointed out at some point earlier. This is something you have to find. It's not really the best spot or anything, but here it is. It's up in the corner, right in one of the very first rooms you go in. Come back out on these amazing tiles, and for some reason I don't screw attack that guy. I had plenty of space to jump. But otherwise, I just used a missile and a super, I'm good. But this leads straight to the statue room, and there are blue lights, but the tiles are purple. That's amazing. Plus it gives you enemies and whatnot, so you can refill on certain items to open the gates. And here's the statue room. And the door on the left, I'm guessing there's some trigger or something that locks or unlocks the door up on top of the elevator in the warp zone. And I'm guessing it sends you to the statue room? But then how do you get out of the... I really don't know. It's confusing and strange, but there is something there, and I am kind of interested to know what exactly is going on with this. But with this out of the way, and I could have went through the door, I was too eager to in the heck, because like I said, it really bogged down and the part looking for Dragon, and after that. And as you can see on the map, I haven't been to the secret area. We're over in M1. And this is a long video for a reason. Not because I just have to go through all these rooms, that's part of it. But there are some things going on that are very interesting. This is what I've been mentioning throughout this. Coming up is a boss rush, which is kind of strange, seeing how we've already fought practically every boss except Spore Spawn and Gold Torizo. And both those bosses are in this boss rush, but so are the previous bosses we've already fought as well. It's really weird. I don't know what exactly all is going on. And here is, if you go to the right here, if you didn't get screw attack earlier, if you come over here, go on this path, whatnot, the item is missing right now, but that's because it's screw attack. At the time, I did not know that, because I had screw attack, so it kind of just looks like there's a missing item here. But if you don't have screw attack, and you come back here, you can get that item here. Which I'm guessing means there are 3 locations for screw attack. I could be wrong, but I think there's 3 locations. There might be 4 even. I am unsure about some of the things in this hack. So yeah, basically, Here's a glass tank. You just destroy it. You have to actually shoot the glass, because you can shoot right through it, but it won't break anything. Screw tackle will be sitting on this pedestal if you didn't collect it, so... if you didn't get it through any other possible location from where I got it, or maybe secret area or whatever, I don't know. If you didn't get there, I highly recommend you get it there, because it's very useful for not taking a lot of damage for the boss rush. I also like the glows on those rinkas. You know, there are some very interesting and strange things with rinkas. Just through, like messing with Mother Brain's room in Fear, I have done something or other that makes their palette really strange. It's like their palette isn't quite set up the same way. Something like that, so yeah. So yeah, we open the door cut. Now we have the shortcut here, so we can go back up, recharge, save, whatever. Which is nice. That's a shortcut, and it's straight back to a filling station, which I use twice because you can never be too full, I guess. So this part of, I would call it terrain, is your usual terrain. There's not really exploration involved, it's get to the end. Here's enemies, you have to defeat them. Have fun. And don't worry about that gate, there's a switch over here, trigger. So yeah, like I said, the hack just really slows down a lot here. It's not too terribly interesting after Dragon. So you're going through this part just like, I want to, or at least I am. I just want to get this hack over with right now. It's not being that interesting. And like these terrain sections, you've seen them before 100 times. Through every other hack, it's just go destroy things, unlock doors, and advance. So, that's why these surprise boss rush of sorts is really... it's just really shocking to see. And you can go through a warped door if you really feel like redoing this, with even with the shortcuts, I guess. But again, what's the point in doing that? So, depending on how good you are at the bosses and your items, you may be reverting to that save station a few times, because the boss rush is up here, and there's... okay, I guess there is a little bit more. Just still another save. Got some interesting things with bangs and stuff, which, to be quite honest, are very deadly with your beams still. So yeah, as soon as I saw theirs, it's like, I don't want to kill myself. I just saved, but I will. If I get hit, I would rather it be by a weak shot like that. That is a strategy against bangs, seeing how they won't take any more or less hits based on your beams. So, I think that is a very good strategy to use on them, because they're helpless against you doing that. They can only fire back what you have equipped, so. There is some interesting bang usage in this room. Yes. Because, yes, and I got myself shot in the face. Because the bangs are a possessive type enemy. And I don't know how I didn't get hit by that one. But they're, like, some enemies in the game are possessive types. Like, there's multiple parts. Like, the dragons in the lava. One part is possessive, and then the other part is just attached to that piece. And you just get that by studying the values and smile and whatnot. And the bangs are a possessive enemy, so what he did with those space pirates is he has, obviously, the bang. And instead of using the other bang part, he used a space pirate and had it as the possessor, or had the bang as a possessor of the space pirate. Or it might have been the other way around. He got it to work like that somehow. So he got it to do that, and that's interesting. It's actually, at least that provided some interest, and there are all kinds of eye doors right now. So yeah, we are going up on this elevator to who knows what. Thankfully it's not to the warp zone, because that would have made me really mad. Instead, we're at the landing site. And I'm just assuming you get warped through the multiple areas because he was using different bits. Because I've already defeated Torizo, Palm Torizo landing site, so this guy has to use a different bit. Or maybe he doesn't even set the bit, or check that bit, I don't know. In any case, plasma is not the best use, but despite that, you may not actually want to use your items that much because there are other bosses coming. Like all of them. And not to really spoil anything, but it's called Planet Spore Spawn for a reason. So all the bosses you fought before are basically the vanilla bosses. I'm not sure about Spore Spawn because obviously I did not fight him. But yeah, and I still missed. But I'm assuming he did his regular pattern or whatnot. I don't know for sure. I didn't feel like going back and checking either. The bosses in this boss rush are all like super strong versions of themselves from earlier. So whereas you got all these very vanilla, straightforward boss fights, now you just have all these very vanilla, straightforward boss fights that are tougher all in a row at the end of the hack. And it's really, really strange. And I'm really glad I actually put this in because this hack really needed something on the back end. And this definitely provides something interesting. So next up is Craid. Also nice death pellet. And I believe after Craid there is a recharge station. So yeah, back in Nature Caves where Spore Spawn was originally, so he's all the way over there still. So yeah, if you want to just use your missiles and supers, go ahead. It's not all an endurance thing where you need to hold all your stuff until Ridley or whatever. There is this one recharge. I'm pretty sure it's the only one. Also, yes, that did not make him rise out of the ground. He has a lot of health. And he hurts a lot. Basically, if you try and rush these guys, you are going to get exploded and hurt a lot. It's not really recommended. Or I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, I am still conserving ammo because I'm assuming I have to use it for the bosses later. But you really don't have to. I'm pretty sure it's right before Phantoon that you get this recharge. And don't freeze his hand right there either. Okay, so with his hand, hitting him in the eyes with a charge shot will freeze his hand in place. If you get it where it's high up, mostly blocking his mouth, if you don't hit him while his mouth is open, after his mouth closes, his hand will start moving again. If you do hit him, his hand will be frozen there for his mouth opening about 3 times, I believe. So you could sort of plan your attack based on if you froze his hand in the right spot. And just hitting him with a regular shot, his hand won't freeze, so. I'm kind of not sure why his hand does that. Also, reverting pallet. And I really haven't been hit that many times, but my health has dropped by half. So, yeah, just don't tank damage and you should be fine. It's easier on these early bosses than some of the later ones. Although if you did grab X-Ray in that worst room ever made, that will make Phantoon and Dragon easier because the plasma X-Ray thing still works on them. It just takes a while because they have a lot of health. And I am glad he did not include regenerating health on the bosses, because that would have just been mean. I sort of initially thought these guys had regenerating health, but I'm thinking more now that it's really just them having a whole lot of health initially. So yeah, you get your refill after Craid. Now you obviously have Phantoon next. And, excuse me, I think someone said on the forum somewhere there is, if you want 100%, I think there's a missile pack hidden in this boss rush somewhere. I don't know for sure. Also, I enjoy the, I enjoyed those other Phantoon graphics in the background there. But yeah, I think there might be, there's supposed to be a missile hidden in the boss rush somewhere or something. So, if you want 100%, you're gonna have to do this, or whatever. I think you can skip this by getting to terrain early through the warp zone elevator thing, but again, not entirely positive about that or how it works. And yeah, Phantoon, excuse me, Phantoon really is not a threat at all. I mean, his flames would have to do like 50 damage or an energy tank of damage. But just hitting him with this beam combo and plasma cutting through the flames anyway, and they drop you out health pickups and stuff, you really should not have that much issue with this fight. So the whole recharge thing is sort of like a breather. I'm also kind of curious about the palette, because the Phantoon GFX in the background has to be updating his palette based on Phantoon's actual palette. And I don't think you can do that by simply placing his tiles in the room. I don't think they would update that way, so there might be something else going on with that. What is it? It might update like that, but I don't think it does. I don't know. But it's an interesting little thing in the hack for this fight. Also, I wouldn't recommend using too much ammo on this guy. Now, obviously, you can get your ammo back from the flames, but toward the end, you might want to hold off on using any ammo on him. It'd go a little faster, but I would recommend keeping some ammo for Ridley. Because, yes, Ridley's in this too. Oh, and Plasma still has the same effect on Crocomire. So, you get Plasma for this boss rush. There's another boss that just goes down right away. It's also a very interesting death sound. Actually, kind of like that sound for Phantoon. Or whatever. It's not Barf Craid, but it works. So, the Plasma X-ray thing does work on Phantoon and Dragon still. I am being a major dingbat. Somehow, because I had to jump in sand, I forgot how to do things. And there are treadmills that push you to that spot in the room. So, it's a bit trickier, but it's really not as hard as I'm making it out to be here, because I am really just very bad at doing it. Honestly, it was me being terrible. That was the hardest part about this fight, was I was just bad. And then I stopped doing it because I'm not very smart. Instead of trying to focus on getting the beam and doing the X-ray, I guess I decided that it's easier just to keep jumping in my safe spot and just hit him every now and then. Which thankfully he doesn't take 4 hours to do that way, but also you don't have to jump over here. Might recommend coming over here first so you can do your X-ray thing, which I don't know what it was. I just struggled with it a lot for some reason. So yeah, it works. Don't need ammo, just use Plasma. So basically, Phantoon, Crocomire aren't threats. Dragon, excuse me, Dragon really isn't much of a threat either because of that. So still have to watch out a little bit for him, because you can't destroy these things. And his room's a bit funky. But yeah, Screw Attack, Plasma X-ray. It helps us go much better. And I am really, really glad that the Meridia bosses are able to have this done to them, because including this in a boss rush would be an absolute pain if you had to fight them regularly. So yeah, when he does his gunk thing, you can do multiple. You can do it multiple times on him. Him, her, whatever. Which helps expedite this whole process, because again, a whole lot of health. And anytime you hear that grappling sound, that means that's sort of the death sound for a Dragon. Like the pre-death sound. I did not notice it for a long time, but every time you defeat Dragon, that grapply sound happens, so... And yes, that PLM of course hurts you. Thank you very much for that. Oh, there's the second recharge station. So if you're going for a low percent, you're crazy. But there's a recharge station. And screw this room. Whoever thought this was a good idea. I mean, seriously. No. But plasma still works, so at least there's that. Because that room would suck. Yeah. Just say no to crumble blocks. And Crocomire's room. Just no. It's not hidden blind morph mazes, but it's pretty obnoxious. So Crocomire's down. I believe we just have Ridley left. Or no, Gold Torizo and then Ridley. And hello, Gold Torizo. And despite him breaking the block there, you might as well go ahead and do this because you don't need him to fall down to break any blocks to get the door. The door is reachable still, so just get him stuck right away and do this. And I am still curious as to why he didn't show up where he was supposed to in the first place. I don't know about that. Not that it would have been much more interesting than this, but at least he would have been there and I wouldn't have questioned it. But the fact he wasn't there makes me question it. So yeah, I'm just assuming this room will go down for a while and just random parts of the floors are breakable by Gold Torizo. And it gives you a free recharge right before Ridley, which is good because you really, depending on your success with Gold Torizo and Crocomire, you really need it. And again, if the X-ray thing worked, the plasma X-ray thing worked on Ridley, that would be the way to go. But it doesn't, so yeah, supers, then missiles, probably your best option. And actually hitting him is a good thing too, and not getting hit. But yeah, the energy recharge thing right before him, kind of interesting. So, I guess some strategies I try to use on Ridley normally. Don't get hit by the tail. That's the first thing. If a hacker changes the damage in Smile, that just changes the damage that touching Ridley himself, his body, gives you. You would have to find where the damage value is in a hex editor to edit it for his tail. So, just if you get hit, try and get hit by his body, because that's most likely the weakest damage value you're going to get, or the smallest damage value. And if he's pogoing and bouncing to the right, or facing toward the right and pogoing, jump up, make him get out of that right away. If he's doing it to the left, let him. You can stand on the leftmost edge, and he can't reach you. Or you could stay in the acid. That works too. But yeah, he'll get you going to the right, so going to the right is not optimal at all. And basically, otherwise, if he's doing something you don't like, basically doing a full jump, getting above him and whatever is the way to go. And yeah, reserve tanks, you should have been energy tanks. Because jumping up above him or whatever will cause him to rise up and sort of reset his pattern. So you can try to use that to your advantage. If he's doing something you don't like, just jump up. And Screw Attack makes it really helpful because you can jump through him without getting damaged. So those are some things you can do if you have trouble with Ridley in general. And that was the boss rush. And that's me refilling twice at the energy recharge again. Not, well, whatchamacallit recharge. And Metroids. Because you can't go without Metroids. So yeah, that was the fun times with the boss rush. And then it's straight back to regular scheduled terrain. But yeah, doing that unlocked a door down here, so you did not do that for nothing. I did not collect a missile. I don't know where this missile's supposed to be, if it's hidden in the boss rush somewhere or not. In any case, after the boss rush obviously is where the Metroid segment of terrain comes in, because you can't make a hack without that, obviously. There's just no way. It would have been better if he redrew Metroids as mini spore spawns. At least that would have been a little bit more visually interesting than... I'm sorry. Redrew the Metroids as blue mini spore spawns. Because it has to be blue. And thankfully this segment isn't too terribly long. The boss rush broke it up a little bit. Broke up the terrain area a little bit, so that was nice. And it's back to regular terrain. But the boss rush does provide a nice break from that, because having a terrain this size all in a row, destroy everything, all that fun stuff, would feel a lot like Phazon hack. And the ending segment to that was just super, super slow and painful. So yeah, you can also break this guy out of his tank if you're feeling nice toward the Metroid. And there's things there. So it's like, kind of wonder about that. But I did not go up and check. So instead, I'm not sure what all's up there, what that's supposed to be, whatever. So if something's up there, I guess there's a thing up there. So yeah, take a break from a lot of blue to get the big Metroid into here, because again, you can't have a terrain with a bunch of terrain things in it without a terrain with a big Metroid in it. And I am not very good at Metroid skip. But I do like doing that, because kneeling on air is pretty amazing. And that thing really needs to brush its teeth. But after that, obviously recharge and save, and that's where this video is going to stop. Mother Brain and the escape are all going to be in the last video, because the escape's kind of long and a little bit interesting. Got some more shine sparking to do in that, so thanks for watching, and we will see you for that. And I don't know where that goes. There's an arrow, and it's scary.